welcome to the Life and Listings podcast. I have Alecia here. Hi, Alecia.
Hi there.
Thanks for joining us. I just want everybody that's listening for you just to introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Yeah, first of all, let me say thank you so much for the opportunity to be here. I absolutely love supporting people in real estate. It is just my calling in life. I am Alecia St. Germain. I'm the founder of The Conscious Edge, where I'm a certified immunity to change coach. And what we do there is we really empower women to move beyond, or I should say, get to the root cause of things like procrastination, perfectionism, and overworking, people pleasing, all their money blocks, like all the things that cause women in real estate specifically, because that happens to be where I came from, to self-sabotage. And it's really about learning to develop a leadership mindset that helps you grow a business with less grind and a lot more fulfillment and joy.
Amazing. And we connected, how long have we known each other? A few months now. And I feel like we could take this conversation in like a million different directions because I just love everything about you. It's going to be so fun.
You're so kind. Thank you.
So one of the things we wanted to talk about today is goals. Let's talk a little bit about that because I feel like you have all of us in real estate, right? We're always like, set your yearly goals and your business tracker and all the different data that you're supposed to track in the real estate industry. But you take a different approach at goal setting and like the idea of goals. So share a little bit about that.
So one of the things that I have learned over the years is when I'm working with clients that they have a number of different reasons they set goals. And for a majority of people, if you're not in balance in your life, if you are either setting a goal and you are hitting it at all costs, which means that you're sacrificing your body, your family, your friends, like your core values and the things that bring you joy, or you're setting goals and you're not hitting them, it's probably that the goal is not 100% aligned to what you actually want in life. And it's what you're making that goal mean that is causing these misfires, as I might call them. So it's really, it's getting underneath not just the technique and the strategy of setting the goal, like SMART goals or things like that, but it's really understanding what's my come from? Why is this goal important to me?
So because goals can mean so many different things, right? Like there's personal, there's professional, and I think a lot of us probably first go to professional goals because I think that's when we're talking that, but there's so many different levels of goals, right? How do you help your coaching clients kind of define what that's going to look like?
So there's the obvious things of like, we have to eat, right? We have to have our basic needs met. So one of the first places that we work on, if you are looking to increase your financial piece, is like, are my basic needs being met? That's number one, because when you're not feeling safe, like I have food, I have shelter, I have my bills paid, that's going to increase like your nervous system response, and it's going to make you growing to the next level harder. So we try to take our goals and break them down into levels of what you need and then find joy at every level. So if you are in that basic needs met, we're going to look at like what brings me joy and finding joy. And it's really so many times I think people attach this idea of experiencing joy and fulfillment to a result that they create. And joy is actually in the little moments, the little wins. And so it's really helping people to step back and see all the parts of the process as opportunities to feel fulfilled and joyful. And then there are people who, have achieved a lot of success, but what's fascinating, and I just did a survey recently, is the number of people that are living comfortably and either looking to have their business create more for them financially, or are living have what they want in life. They just maybe want to plan a little bit better for retirement, yet a majority don't feel successful. Like they've done a lot and they don't feel successful. So we're really looking at, what does success actually mean? So many people think success means I achieved a result, as opposed to success means I'm fulfilled, I'm contributing, I'm doing things I'm passionate about. I'm serving a purpose in the world, which is where we get some fulfillment. I'm prosperous. That can happen at every level.
And do you think it's because we're almost ingrained to like set these yearly outlandish goals, and so we're just kind of burning ourselves out to get to that next level? We're not enjoying all the other goals that we've maybe hit over our lifetime?
Yeah. So Definitely from the beginning, we are trained that there are right answers and wrong answers, right? From elementary school, we're trained right and wrong, but get the right test. And so that is one of the things that happens, especially for people who have a tendency to be people pleasers, who want other people to be pleased with their performance, is they will set a goal that has nothing to do with what they actually need, want, desire, or is in alignment with their core values, but is based on, and this is so rampant in like just the realtor world of like, you got to hit your numbers, you got to hit your numbers. And so it's based on goals that will please others. And that's just, you're going to come up short every time when you don't have that drive, or you're going to hit the goal and you're going to be completely burned out.
Yeah. So then I guess like being like a business owner, it was like, oh, I want to double my business. I want to do these things. I want to buy more properties. I want to make more investment. So like, how do you kind of sit there with yourself and figure out like what's going to bring you the most joy? Do you kind of just let your heart kind of guide you? Because I mean, it's like you also want to make more money, right? We all want to make more money.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you recommend someone sits down and really make sure that it's like a well-rounded thing they're working towards?
So I think number one, you actually start with the personal side. Like, what would make me feel fulfilled? How much time do you want to spend with your friends and family, your kids? What do you want your day-to-day look like? So often people, and we hear this all the time, but you build your life around what you do to make money instead of building what you do to make money around your life. And one of the things I always tell my clients is you can do one new thing at a time. You can do other things that you already know how to do, but you can do one new thing at a time. And I very often see business owners focus in a scattered amount of directions, all new things, all things that they're trying to figure out. And it takes a lot of mental energy and it's very depleting for your body. And so that was one of the hard decisions that I had to make is I was, 17, 18 years old with my mom doing real estate, finding properties through probate, wholesaling, and those were all earned income strategies, right? And then I moved on to getting into mobile homes, putting notes on mobile homes. I used that reoccurring income to fund my ability to have babies and help offset. So I had more time. But one of the things that happened is I was collecting that money coming in and raising my kids, and also realized at the same time I had this calling to coach people in really being able to achieve their goals in real estate. And I saw so many people spend tens of thousands of dollars on all kinds of training and courses, trying to plug a hole, find a strategy that fit for this thing that wasn't working in their life and they couldn't put their finger on it.
Yeah.
And so I knew like it was stronger than anything. I had this calling. And I also knew I couldn't continue doing real estate and build a brand new coaching business and raise my little babies in the way that I wanted. And so I chose which thing to put on the back burner. It doesn't mean that I can't do real estate. It doesn't mean that I don't want to build retirement through real estate. It just means this was my focus now. And that I did that to conserve energy. And I had to be okay with people thinking like, this is crazy. This doesn't look right on paper, but I live so happy.
Yeah.
So it's like getting really clear with what do you want? You've got a voice that says, this is what I'm called to do. This is what lights me up. This is what's really awesome. And you've got another voice in there that goes, but you can't do that. That's not logical. All those other voices. So it's really getting clear on what do you want? And then is that voice that is sabotaging you telling you the truth? And that's where a coach comes in.
Ooh, that's a good one. Okay. I mean, and I love that, how you set your goals, because that's really like how I built Stats. Was I knew I just wanted to be able to pick up my kids from school every day. I want to be able to drop them off, and I want to be able to take Thursdays off with my kids. That was like the entire thing. There was no money goal involved. It was like, I just want to be able to support my family, and I need to figure out a way to do that. And so I love that you can kind of break that down for other people, because I feel like more often than not, that's definitely not how we're setting intention with building a business or doing anything like that. We're going, I need to make all this money. Well, how is that going to affect the things that are important to you? And me volunteering on Thursdays in the kids' class fills me up just as much as my business does. Like, I need both of those things to feel like the person I want to be personally. So How have you seen that? Like, what have some of your clients done? Like, what have you, I mean, we talk about family, but like, what other goals are they working towards that aren't just financial?
So that aren't financial. So there could be health goals. Like your body is the thing that you do good work in the world with. And so we really focus on, are you operating at your best at all levels? Are you sleeping? That's my number one thing.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Is like sleep. And I'm somebody who struggles with sleep, but I know when I get it, I function so much better. And so
Yeah.
I'm really cautious to say, okay, great. It's okay. I call it laboring, right? So when you're laboring to hit a goal, just like having a baby, when you're laboring, you're going through something intense and it can be depleting for your body. But on the other side, it's going to feel amazing. And you're going to have this beautiful thing that you have achieved, this thing that you can be so proud of. And then you're going to give yourself space to rest and recover. Well, what people are doing is they're not giving them space to rest and recover, and they're just like continuously laboring. That's the fastest way to burnout.
Yeah. I see that very, very often. Very, very often. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously I'm only in the real estate world. So it's like real estate, but I see that so often where they're just like, I'm over it. I can't keep doing the way that I'm doing it. I've just been working forever and ever and ever. And like the real estate industry changes and you're working towards the next big thing. So,
I mean, one of the things that is really part of what we do is like if someone has a personal goal, they oftentimes have a belief that if I don't operate like this in my business, it will suffer. And what we go through a process of helping them understand and testing and experimenting, like if I let things go in a certain way and really double down on the things that are actually working really well and a good use of my time, that they can actually create more time in their life and their business doesn't, at the worst, change, doesn't suffer.
yeah.
And even many times it actually is better because they're more filled up, they're feeling good, their confidence is growing, they're willing to be more visible, like all of the things.
100%. I mean, I know like when I feel like my cup is full, I can give more to my staff, I can give more to my clients. I feel like I could just do more. I'm just more productive in general when like I'm feeling good about myself, and that's so important. Let's talk a little bit about self-sabotage. You mentioned that and that voice in your head. Like that's a huge one, right? I mean, how are you seeing that coming up?
So one of the things that is the basis of the immunity to change coaching I do, which is a methodology from two Harvard professors, Robert Keegan and Lisa Leahy. And I spent some time getting certified in it. It's such a beautiful process. And the very first thing that we do is we look at, okay, what's the right goal for you? What's going to make the most impact in your life, whether it's personal or professional? And then we go through a mapping process to get down to what is the big assumption that you are making about the world and the way that you exist in it? So it's like, if I am not perfect, then I will be rejected, right? Or if I make a mistake, then, XYZ will happen to me. And so your self-protection, I called it self-sabotage, but really it's self-protection. It's, I must survive. And that's how our bodies are wired. So unconsciously, you have these operating systems running in your life, and it's causing people to do the overworking, right? Because you're maybe the perfectionist that like making a mistake is like the worst thing for you, when in fact, and a lot of perfectionists have a hard time finishing projects, like getting all the way to the goal and completing it, because they're trying to make it perfect before it's released or before it comes out. And so what they don't realize is that part of completing a project or part of completing something is actually putting it out for feedback.
Yeah.
And then making the tweaks that need to happen once you have the feedback. But feedback feels so critical that it's dangerous. So we just don't finish anything, or we procrastinate it until we figure it out. And so you're not operating, you're not hitting your numbers, you're not doing things at the level you could be because you're self-protecting.
You're not even putting it out in the world to even move the needle forward. That's great. I mean, all of that is just such amazing information. Like, how would a brand new agent is trying to set some sort of goal? I think this is almost like the best. I mean, it's for any level of business, right? But like if you're telling a new agent or a new broker owner, hey, we're going to set some intentions for the next year, it almost sounds like you're saying, let's start with what you need to pay your bills, right? and let's make sure we're filling up our cup, and then let's almost set a separate one. So are you setting like little, almost like smaller goals along the line?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So you are better off to set a smaller goal, even if it's half of what you need. And you start there, because what happens is the human nature, in my experience, for most people, is to see that goal and it puts pressure on them. Pressure, it's like that is not the most effective way for you to feel safe to move forward. Taking the pressure off and having compassion. We talk a lot about compassionate leadership and the ways that we are gentle with ourselves. And if you have a setback or you don't show up at your best a particular day, it doesn't mean everything's bad.
Yeah.
It's like there's a lot of shame around that. Like, I'm bad. I screwed up today, therefore I'm bad. No, you had a bad day. Yeah. So being compassionate with yourself. But that doesn't mean, being compassionate with yourself doesn't mean we excuse you for not hitting the goal. So earlier it came to mind, and it didn't quite come out, was there's also people where it doesn't feel right, so I'm going to change my goal. It doesn't feel right. Well, isn't it that the goal's not aligned, or is it that you're hitting some other resistance that you get to handle, that you get to dig under? There's so much personal development and discovery that gets to be done in the process of hitting your goals. So no, it's not just, oh, I don't feel right, this isn't aligned, because that also doesn't work, because oftentimes those people are not feeling as sufficient and having their bills be paid and living the life that they want either, because they keep holding back and they keep changing the goal or trying the new strategy versus handling what is the big assumption, what is the self-protection, what is the resistance. So I want to be very clear, pressure is not going to help you hit your goals. And also being compassionate. And when you don't hit a goal, I used to be that person that like hit the goal or die trying.
Okay.
And what I learned was I did not like who I was being as a mom and a wife. And so instead, I started setting my goals, and it was non-negotiable. I had to show up as the wife and the mom that I wanted to be, because that's my confidence. That's my core. That's feeling good about myself. That's my self-esteem. Mm-hmm. And then if I didn't hit the goal, it was what's missing. What did I need to do? What do I need to change? What am I going to do better next time? Did I need to plan earlier? Did I need to, be more proactive in my follow-up? What was missing, right? And so I would encourage everyone, instead of sacrificing yourself and your family for your goals, what if your goals were just a target and not hitting them was simply feedback to show you where you could improve?
A lot of self-reflection. I mean, I think tons, right? It's like self-reflection. You're really, like, I just got off a call a little bit ago, and it was just amazing to do a consult with someone that really, you could tell, had already done self-reflection. They knew what they needed in their business without even really digging in. It was like, I know I need this because I wasn't able to hit my goal because I'm doing XYZ. And so a lot of it's like, could you plan better? Did you need to delegate more? Did you need to ask for help? Or like you said earlier, did I set like an unreasonable goal? Which is more often than not what a lot of us in real estate do. You see something on Instagram and you're like, I'm going to sell $1 billion of real estate next year. Well, how are you going to get there, and what are you going to sacrifice to make that happen? So such great info. All right. we're going to pivot, and I'm going to ask you a question. So what is your superpower?
I love this. You told me you were going to ask this question. Immediately I knew where I was going. So
yay.
And this falls into my calling. I have this innate ability to very, very quickly, and I'm known for this, get to the heart of the matter and very lovingly deliver hard truths.
Ooh, that's a good super. I could just see that. The way that you just talk too, I feel like you're very calm, but you can get right to the point really, really quickly.
It's like telling you the things you don't want to hear, but you need to hear, and doing it in a way that doesn't hurt so bad.
In a very just loving and gentle way. That's it.
Loving our truths. Yep.
That's perfect. Well, thank you so much for joining us on the podcast today. It's been a delight. It's been, a few weeks since we talked about you being on here, and I couldn't wait for our conversation. If anyone wants to get in touch with you, where is the best place for them to reach out to?
So I would go to consciousedge.com would be the best place. And if I can make a shameless plug, we do have the Elevated Women Real Estate Investors Summit coming up that launches May 1st. And so if you go to consciousedge.com/event, which you were on the 2023 version of it. So we have
I was.
a 2024 version out on May 1st. So I would just love to invite anyone who is in real estate investing and or is interested in investing and is really looking to go beyond strategy and look for the nuances and the things that we're talking about here today. That's what I love to talk about and love to share and have so many investors coming in and talking about as well.
Amazing. And I'll drop all the information in the show notes. Well, thank you again for joining us today, and have a great day.